So yeah, I wanted to wish everyone, good morning to all the folks from the United States over here. Good evening to folks from India, the folks who are joining from Europe, Prince and Noam from Israel. I think it's good evening for you guys and all the folks from India. Kanmani and our chief guest, Mr. Shashikiran from India. And we have Lucian and his wife and his partner from Poland. And then we have Natalie from Mexico. And finally, Atsuko Maeda from Japan. It's super late for you. It's like 12:30 a.m. for you. Thank you for joining us at this late hour. So today, and Mayor Mashburn, welcome once again, to our cross-culture concerts. We really appreciate you joining us today one more time.
Thank you.
We have a pretty packed program today, and we really appreciate everyone taking the time to join us. Pretty much today, we wanted to get together to sort of review our progress that we've made on the cross-culture concerts. We had launched this back in January, and Mayor Mashburn had inaugurated the cross-culture concerts through Sayat Saras, and Mayor Mashburn's been supportive of so many of our initiatives on Sayat Saras, so thank you again for that. So the whole premise behind, the cross-culture concerts was essentially Nikki is joining us, and apologies for that. So the whole premise behind, launching the cross-culture concerts was to essentially shine the spotlight on artists from around the world who've spent a good part of their professional career practicing music or dance or art of another culture. So a lot of our artists that we've featured have spent, in fact, decades not just learning art of their own, native culture, but actually spending like decades learning music, either, it's from India or the Middle East or Western music, Western classical or popular. And so we wanted to shine the spotlight on these artists. And the idea was to sort of disseminate a positive message from speaking with them and trying to understand, why and what their experience was, and sort of get more artists and professionals and also even fans to embrace the concept of cross-culture. And so season one, we launched in January, and we featured several artists from the United States, Canada, Indonesia, and Europe. And predominantly the focus was on instruments, musical instruments. We didn't have a whole lot of vocalists. But season two, there was a little bit of a difference. We not only had a couple of vocalists, but we also featured dance. We featured about 7 dancers from, 6 from Japan and 1 from Italy. And while it seems, not so unusual, what's very interesting about this was the dancers that we featured from Japan had spent like decades learning dances from India, and the dancer from Italy is not able to join us today. So that was an interesting difference. In addition, we still have a few more performances left. We're featuring artists from Guinea, Mexico, and Italy as well in this series. And we also have kicked off the cross-culture recitals. And today we have a few artists who have joined us in that regard. And we have Noam Speer from Israel who's joined us as well. And Surabhi, who's going to be part of our cross-culture recitals. We couldn't get all our artists today because in the US, folks are working during the day and it's very late in other parts of the world. But, I think we have a good representation today. In addition, we have a couple of artists through our Art Abilities initiative at Sayat Saras, where we've provided an exclusive platform for artists with disabilities. And these artists have also contributed to a large extent to our cross-culture events. So we want to welcome Kanmani from India and Rachel Greider from the National Federation of the Blind for joining us today. And so, I want to also reiterate the fact that, we're still not out of the woods yet as far as the pandemic goes. In fact, In India, as we know, the second wave has hit them very hard, and it's been pretty traumatic. And despite what's been going on, our artists have been extremely supportive and, trying to stay positive and contributing, in whatever way they're able to towards the series. And I want to thank them for that. And similarly, there are certain parts of the world that are ravaged by war. The recent, issues that are happening within, the Gaza Strip. So I want to take a moment to even thank Noam for, despite, going through these in these current situations, for joining us today and being a part of this series. So I truly appreciate that. And before we move on to the next part, I want to introduce Mayor Mashburn and Mr. Sashikiran, and I want to turn the platform over to them to say a few words. Mayor Mashburn, for all the folks who have not met you before, you have been elected as the mayor of Simi Valley in November 2018, and then you were re-elected back in November 2020. And you served previously in the Simi Valley City Council from November 2012 to 2018. And you were appointed to the City Council to serve as the Mayor Pro Tem in 2016. Mayor Mashburn actually serves on many different committees, including the city's Affordable Housing Committee, Americans with Disability Act, Paratransit Advisory Committee, the Association of Water Agencies, to just name a few, and many, many others. But one of the very interesting aspects is that Mayor Mashburn is also on the board of the Simi Valley Police Foundation and also served for over 30 years in the Ventura County Fire Department, retiring as the rank battalion chief in 2005. Mayor Mashburn was raised in Simi Valley, and he attended local public schools and graduated from Simi Valley High School in 1968. And Mayor Mashburn and his wife have raised 2 daughters and now have 2 grandsons who also live in Simi Valley. And I have to thank you again, Mayor Mashburn, for joining us and being so supportive of all our efforts, making the time, whether it's our art initiatives or science initiatives. You've always been behind us. Thank you so much, and a very warm welcome to you today.
Well, thank you. The pleasure is absolutely mine. And I imagine some of you out there are thinking, who is this guy from this relatively small town north of Los Angeles, California? And I've lived here all my life, and I've watched our city. We have about 130,000 people, and I've watched our city become very diversified as compared to when I was a child growing up here. And so I very much enjoy representing all cultures and all members of our city. And through the arts, we have a cultural arts center, and that center now is somewhat focused on the multicultural arts, and we're reaching out and specifically asking for different cultures to come in, and even if it's just to demonstrate their food styles or their dress styles. But of course, I think the cornerstone, and the cornerstone is what binds things together. The cornerstone is the arts, music, dance, and it seems to get people excited and breaks down barriers. So we're very proud of our actions in Simi Valley, and we recently had our first multicultural festival, and it was online, Zoom, and very successful. And there we shared the history, different celebrations, traditions, and of course going back to music and dance and the arts in general. So I feel this connection to the Sci Arts R Us simply because we're doing that here in our valley and our city. And I always promote our Culture Arts Center. While it's not huge, it's a beautiful place. And I'm hoping someday we could have this group come to our city and put on an event at our Cultural Arts Center. And I think it would be very successful, and I think it would be very enlightening for our city. But where I want to go today is to present a proclamation. to the cross-culture concerts, and I'll read part of it. I'm not going to read all of it because it'll take a little while, but I do want to read, and if you can see this as I hold it up, here is the proclamation. Can you see that?
It's kind of. Thank you.
Anyway, it's very pretty, it's very formal, and there's a lot of thought behind it, and it's from everyone at our city, and it says, whereas the cross-cultural concerts Celebrate Our Differences initiative has been launched globally by California-based nonprofit for the arts and sciences, Sci Arts Are Us, and whereas the cross-culture concerts were curated by Dr. Regina Koshik, and I hope I didn't ruin their name there, founder of Sci Arts Are Us, for the promotion and access to science, arts, music, and culture, and to bring together professional artists from around the world who have practiced music or dance of another culture, and to disseminate the positive message to a global audience. Whereas the cross-cultural concerts introduce music and dance from around the world to children in schools at all levels, and educate the community about world art and culture through concerts, interviews, lectures, and workshops, through online and live events to spread the spirit of cultural diversity. Now, therefore, May 21, 2021 is hereby proclaimed Cross-Culture Concerts and Recitals Celebrate Our Differences Day in the city of Simi Valley, to nurture the love of diverse art and culture among children and adults, to promote cultural integration and goodwill among all. Presented this 21st day of May 2021. And it gives me great pleasure to do this, and there's a lot of meaning behind it, and it's awesome to see us bringing together the different cultures and sharing, and through music and dance. I think that's a wonderful way to do it, and of course through our children. And I would also like to say real quickly that we too have suffered through the COVID issue, and we seem to be moving out of it, and it's becoming less troublesome for us, and we're going to start moving back to where we can be together. And with that, we send our condolences to India for the issues that they're having with the sudden second surge, and we wish them nothing but the best. So with that, thank you very much for having me, and have a good program.
Thank you so much, Mayor Mashburn. The support that the city of Simi Valley and you've provided, I'm very, very grateful and thankful for this, and, and the proclamation as well. Really, really appreciate it. I really hope that, this goes beyond the city of Simi Valley, and, we can go across borders and, help everyone focus on these cross-culture initiatives. And thank you so much once again for your support.
Sure. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
I hope you can stay, Mayor Mashburn, for the program if possible.
Okay, thank you.
It would be awesome. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next chief guest, Mr. K.N. Shashikiran. He is a very sought after musician, scholar, composer, arts promoter, entrepreneur, voice expert, teacher, author, and daily columnist. Most of all, he's a very enterprising, energetic, and innovative thinker with over 40 years of performing experience and over 30 years of experience teaching music globally to over 1,000 students. And he hails from a family of accomplished musicians, and he stormed the music world as a child prodigy at the age of 2. And he was able to identify melodic scales and demonstrate complicated rhythms and answer many technical questions in the genre of classical music in India called Carnatic music. He's dedicated, and he's also been, given an honorary doctorate from King's College for his supremely deep accomplishments in the field of music. He has had the privilege of also learning from stalwarts in the area of music, in the genre of Carnatic music. And from the age of 9, he's been performing concerts and is an established vocalist with a vast experience of over 5,000 concerts, including lecture demonstrations, fusion concerts, and many such events in prominent organizations globally. In addition to this, I wouldn't be able to do justice to all the accomplishments Mr. Shashikiran has, but he has been actually, he has curated and organized several large-scale events in the arts and culture globally, and has been a trailblazer in many, many areas in the arts, and also been a trailblazer in cultural events. He's been given many awards, including the highest award from the Tamil Nadu state government, Kalaimamani, which basically is the highest award that's given for someone who contributes to the arts. I would be happy to share Mr. Shashikiran's very, very impressive resume. In addition to all his accomplishments in music and culture, he's also a very avid social worker who dedicates a lot of his time helping folks in trouble, artists and non-artists alike. Without taking too much time from Mr. Shashikiran, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, your support to Sai Art Saras. In addition to, we've had the privilege of our children learning music from Mr. Shashikiran as well. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to turn it over to you to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjini Kaushik, for that very, very generous, description about whatever I am. I really think, first of all, I would like to congratulate Sai Arts RS for the wonderful initiative that you've been doing to promote cross-cultural concerts and recitals and feature artists from around the world, integrate all of these artists and bring in harmony and peace through different traditions and cultures from around the world, and showcasing some of the best talents and artists. The one thing that I would really think is, first of all, congratulations on the proclamation that you've just received. I would like to also thank and compliment the mayor, Keith Mashburn, for taking the initiative and taking the efforts, and the city of Simi Valley supporting these initiatives. That goes a long way in ensuring that such initiatives reach a larger number of people, and across the world, we will be propagating positivity. More so during this pandemic, where we're all seeing such unprecedented calamities, such unprecedented crisis that the entire world has faced. And artists are some kind of very, very important elements to ensure that emotional balance is maintained around the world through their great work. So I would only urge all the artists around the world to take it upon themselves during this pandemic to ensure that we bring in positivity and cheer amidst all the chaos that's happening around the world. And we have wonderful artists who are lined up today. I would first of all like to greet each one of them representing different countries: Neon, Kanmani, Rachel Grinder, Prince, Liu Jan, Surabhi, Nicolo, and then you have Atsuko from Japan, and Natalie from Mexico. So I have you have very, very beautiful artists lined up. I don't know if I'm pronouncing all of them right, because I don't think I've tried doing it before, but it's wonderful to see such wonderful artists represent different parts of the globe, bringing together a very diverse culture and also representations from all over the world through music, dance, and many other forms. Particularly on the day that you're celebrating or commemorating the World Day for Cultural Diversity, for Dialogue and Development. This is a very, very important day that I think we all have to really salute all these artists for taking the painstaking efforts to preserve the integrity and our culture and spread this around the world. Um, an effort which I would really say will go a long way, not just during the pandemic, but also otherwise, to spread global peace and harmony across the world. I don't think just the pandemic alone is our problem today in the world. We have environmental issues, we have other kinds of wars in certain areas. All the calamities that we already have. The only thing that can bring in solace is through integrating the diverse cultures from around the world and showcasing this, which Sai Arts RS are doing it wonderfully. And kudos to Dr. Ranjini Kaushik for spearheading this wonderful initiative and bringing together such wonderful artists. And also, in addition to that, I'm very deeply touched by the efforts that Art Abilities is bringing together, where very special, challenged people are featured, and their enormous potential and talent, despite the hardships, gives us all hopes, particularly during this pandemic and even otherwise, that we can face any adversity if we have that positivity. And through this effort that Ranjini has put together to bring in all these very, very brilliant talents. I watched some of the videos and some of them online through the shows that's been featured. Each one of them are wonderfully gifted, and they radiate so much of positive energy. And that is something that I would say is so important. And that is one of the major contributions that Sai Arts is bringing to the world. And I really think at this point of time, the positivity that we all need can come only through such efforts. And I wish them good luck in the forthcoming years and wish them a lot more events live in future, in addition to all the online events during the pandemic. But very soon, since the world, at least your part of the world, is opening up, and with the support that you're having from the city of Simi Valley and from the mayor there, I'm sure you can start off in some ways with the live events as well. And that will bring in a lot more artists together and also a lot of culture from different parts of the world. And the cross culture, in particular, the cross culture concerts, which I'm very touched, is very special because it gives an additional impetus to different artists to try something that they have never done before. So in addition to what they have already been very comfortable with, it's an area where they can explore and learn an art form of another culture. And that way they get closer to the world through that effort. That's a brilliant effort. And I'm very happy that you've extended it to not only professional musicians, but you've also extended it to students and talents from around the world who can all, be a part of it. I really think, in addition to all the talents, I would always even urge. I'm sure a lot of us would have been, quack singers or quack performers, even at school level, who would have learned something. So I would say that, don't worry about how good you are. Just go for it and try it. And I'm sure we have to create this as a movement. We have to revolutionize the world through culture, integrate culture, and through culture, bring in peace, happiness, prosperity to around the world. Let us become cultural ambassadors, and each one of us can ensure that we motivate several others in such efforts. And alongside whatever we generate, financially or otherwise, let's contribute to those who are underprivileged, who need the assistance, who need our support during this crisis and during different crises that the world faces. There are problems that many countries have in terms of education, there are poverty issues, there are so many other issues. Let's all contribute to various such issues and eradicate each one of them and see a world which is happy around us through whatever we are doing. Thank you for inviting me once again. And it's a pleasure meeting such wonderful artists. Looking forward to their brilliant performances. Thank you again, Dr. Rajni Kaushik.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shashikiran. We really appreciate your time and the very kind words. The support and your vote of confidence means a lot to us. And all the credit goes to the artists as well, who've been supporting us, like you said, through all the dire situations. Thank you again. I know Nikki joined us a little late. So I just want to welcome Nikki Richardson from TO Arts. She's the director of TO Arts. She will be speaking to us. Hi, Nikki, nice to meet you. She will be speaking to us towards the end of the program. So if you don't mind, Nikki, because it's a little late for the folks from Japan and India, if you're okay, can we please start the program, and then I'll go through a little bit of a detailed introduction right after we finish. And then, we can't wait to hear your thoughts as well. Thank you. So I wanted to start with our first part of the program. We wanted to give a little review of what we've done for the cross culture thus far for the benefit of the folks who haven't, participated. So hold on just a second, please. Are you able to see my screen? Mayor Mashburn is from the city of Simi Valley.
And I'm going to go off my script a little bit when you mentioned Simi Valley and our care of the arts. And we're becoming a very diversified city, and which is great. But we also, through the arts, can have a better understanding of each other's culture. The arts promote the sharing of cultures. There's just no boundaries. And it's tolerance and social skills, which I think our country can use a little bit of encouragement and training in those skills. In the arts, there's no racial or religious barriers. And even though I speak from my city of Simi Valley, talking to you folks tonight, I realize there are no boundaries of city limits. We're worldwide. Students who study the arts are proven to be stronger in math and science, which is such an important part of the education system. And I think that's so true, and I liken it a little bit to, the Olympics is to build strong moral bodies and education.
And in this case, the arts and the science work hand in hand to do exactly the same. We need both arts and science to become a thriving, not only community, but world.
Long past the woodland days.
Thunga, takita thunga, takita taka dikita takato, takita taka dikita taka daga daga.
Series this time is a little bit different from last time, but essentially the focus was to get people together who are practicing art of another culture on our platform, and we're very, very thankful for that. I want to introduce Mr. Yogi, our guest of honor today. Mr. Yogi is an Indian-born Japanese politician and the first person of Indian origin to win an election in Japan.
Formed at my culture center here. So when I actually started knowing these people, they are actually contributing more to the Indian traditions, Indian culture, than actually the Indian diaspora is actually contributing to.
Exactly.
So my second big thanks to all these people who are actually keeping the Indian culture alive across the globe. And I would really request for their ongoing work, and in fact teaching us what we have actually forgotten. So that's my request from the bottom of my heart. And I would just like to be an enzyme, just like to be a chemical factor in pushing their efforts into the right direction, whichever way, be it socially or be it politically. And I feel I can go into bigger roles into politics. However, I'm not here to do politics. I'm here to do actually more of real work, like a profession. So, and I would like to take this agenda of culture and tradition, and not only what you can say constrained to India and Japan, but I would like to see music and tradition of all different cultures actually coming together, and all of us actually doing.
பொன்னொன்று கண்டேன் பெண்ணங்கு இல்லை ஏனென்று நான் சொல்லலாகுமா ஏனென்று நான் சொல்ல வேண்டுமா பூவொன்று கண்டேன்
लेत मोहे छेड़ देखत सब रंग मुँह पे ना डारो बीच डगर घेर लेत मोहे छेड़ देखत सब रंग मुँह पे ना tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke your throat, she cut your hair. From your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Thank you all for watching this. And I know, it's been a long video, apologies, but thank you all for your patience. I think Mayor Mashburn may have dropped off, but, I'm very happy that everyone got a chance to meet with Mayor Mashburn. Without further ado, I think, I'd like to get started with our artists, performances. Because of network connectivity issues, we're sharing pre-recorded, videos of our artists. So let's get started. I'd like to quickly introduce our first artist, Noam Speer. Noam Speer grew up in Israel, which contains diverse, it's a land of diverse musical cultures. And after about 13 years of living in the desert, he began to formulate a unique musical language. Noam plays the Comanche, clarinet, and the Senator Persian and other instruments. And together with his friend Ariel Schuldman, he founded the ensemble Orat Veculum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I want to take a minute to thank Noam for, joining us today, despite, the relatively, the lot of unrest that's going on currently in Israel with all the wars and the bombings. And, you inspire us to focus on what's positive despite what's going on. Thank you, Noam, for joining us. I'd like you to just say something briefly before I share your video. Thank you.
Shalom, hello. Thank you. I believe that music can help people connect with their soul and bring peace and comfort to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Noam, for joining us today, and thanks to your wife as well, who's been helping coordinate this quite a bit. Let me share a very interesting video of yours that you had shared with us for this occasion. Just give me 1 second. That was a brilliant performance, Noam. Thank you so much. And you know, folks, if you want to listen to more of Noam's music, tune in a couple of weeks. We'll be premiering Noam's concert as part of the Cross Culture Recitals. I know, you know, for Atsuko Maeda, it's really, really late in Japan. So if everyone is okay, I'd like to introduce Atsuko and her dance first. So in case she wants to go to sleep, I mean, you're welcome to stay through the whole time, but I felt, you know, really bad because it's almost 1 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. for you. Atsuko Maeda is one of the very few leading Kathak dancers in Japan. And she has been my single point of contact actually for all the coordination in Japan. And having been fascinated by the beauty and graceful choreography of Srimati Kumudini Lakhya ji, she was trained at Kadam, Ahmedabad since 2005 with a scholarship from ICCR, Government of India. And Atsuko-san also incorporates Japanese traditions with Kathak. And, you know, we premiered her concert, you know, I'd be happy to share this with all of you. She's also the founder and director of Kadam Japan. And in addition to her passion for teaching Kathak, she also performs in international and cultural exchanges between Japan and India. Welcome, Atsuko-san. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Appreciate that.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Hope to see you after some times, real meeting. Ranjini, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining us so late. Appreciate your support, Atsuko-san. I'll really quickly share yours. 1 second, please.
Thanks a lot.
अर्धांग शिवाय नमः ॐ अर्धांग शिवाय नमः ॐ अर्धांग शिवाय नमः नीलशेषधर नीलकंठधर असुर असंग दल डमरुकर पार्वती पति शिव हर 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 पार्वती पति शिव हर 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 पार्वती पति शिव हर हर हर
You know, we shared a short snippet of what Atsuko-san performed in our series, but you know, some of her dances are very beautiful. And you know, please check her performance out on our Sayat Saras page. It was a beautiful performance just a couple of weeks ago. Thanks, Atsuko-san, again for joining and for your support. You know, before I forget, I think Rishi Kaushik, who's over here, I wanted to thank him for doing all the editing for all of this that we're presenting today. And he is a 6th grader at Sycamore Canyon. And he's actually my son. But he's going to leave in like a few minutes to join school. But I just wanted to, he wanted to meet all of you. So, so Rishi, you can say hi, and then you can leave whenever when you're ready to leave for school.
Hi everyone. It's nice to meet you. Hello.
Thank you, Rishu. So our next artist that I'd like to introduce is Kanmani, actually. So Kanmani is our Artabilities for All artist, and we're going to be premiering her concert as part of both Artabilities and Cross Culture actually on Saturday. Kanmani actually can beat any skillful painter with her impressive paintings. And when she holds a brush between her feet and plays with colors on canvas, she creates magic. And when she sings, her mesmerizing voice reaches directly to the hearts. She's an extraordinarily talented painter and singer. While she was born without hands, she inspires everyone to become independent in life. A truly courageous girl from the Alapura district of the Indian state, Kerala. She says, music makes me feel alive. I started it as a hobby when I was quite young. She mentions when you ask her how she started singing, with her confidence and right approach towards life, she's all set to write her exams, board exams. With the support from her parents, friends, and relatives, Kanmani is climbing up in life successfully. And she has also recently acted in commercial movies back home and is very excited about it as well. Thank you so much, Kanmani, for joining us. I know it's very late, and I know your mother's not there today as well. And we're so excited to have your performance be premiered this weekend. Thank you. Do you have something that you would like to say to our artists today?
Thank you, ma'am, and hello, everyone. I believe the chance to talk on this venue is showered upon me by the Almighty. Like all other blessings upon me, it is also an unexpected as well as exciting one. I am very happy to see and this artist. And thank you, Ranjini ma'am and Sky RS. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanmani, for joining us today. I know it's pretty late for you as well. Hold on just a moment, and I'd like to share Kanmani's one of her songs that we're featuring from her concert.
Vicharamu makelara vicharamu makelara vicharamu makelara vicharamu makelara vicharamu makelara vicharamu marukan Sri Ramadandra makelara
Thank you so much, Kanmani, for that very brisk performance. Thank you for joining us. I think what I'd like to do is, I think it's pretty late. I'm trying to find out who it is really late for and feature them first. I think it's not that late in Poland yet, and Natalie's only 2 hours ahead. So I'm thinking I will probably go to Surubi. Surubi is in the US too, so it doesn't matter. So maybe I should go with Prince. Prince Diabati is actually going to be performing on Sayat Saras as well, actually in just a couple of days, like on Sunday, I believe. So Prince hails from a prominent Malinke family from Guinea, West Africa. He actually learned his art from his father, and breaking with tradition, his father taught Prince's mother also to play the instrument kora. And Prince, as a young boy, became an exceptionally early starter by accompanying his parents to concerts through West Africa. And despite his father's disapproval, he decided to make music his life. And I think your first performance was when you were 8 years old, Prince. I know today we're premiering your meet and greet, and I encourage everyone to get to learn a little bit more about Prince. But Prince currently lives in France, although he, comes to the United States, like LA, every so often when conditions permit. Thank you for joining us today and, willing to share your music with us today as well, Prince. Is there something that you would like to share with the artist before I share your song?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. Thank you for, I'm really happy to be here. And I'll thank Science Us for this wonderful program, and cross culture. So this way, the music I'll play is from West Africa and abroad. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys. Thank you so much. I hope everybody will come to see this wonderful program. And congratulations to you for this wonderful work to put all this program together. Congratulations.
Thank you, Prince, for the support and the kind words. Yes, I'll definitely encourage everyone to watch your performance coming up on Sunday. I will share your song in just a moment. There you go. Thank you so much, Prince, for that wonderful piece. We look forward to your performance on Sunday. Thank you. I know, it's
thank you so much.
getting,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, of course, thank you so much for staying. And I also want to thank the folks who are staying for as long as it's taking. Apologies for, how long it's going. I appreciate everyone's support. I want to introduce Rachel really quickly. I know she also has work to go to, like probably everyone else, I guess, in California. Rachel Greider actually is originally from Modesto. Hi, Rachel. I hope you're still there.
Hello.
Hi. So Rachel actually began her serious foray into music at Cal State University, Stanislaus, where she received her dual Bachelor of Music degree in vocal performance and composition. And she continued her studies in the Peabody Conservatory, where she graduated with the dual Masters of Music degree in voice performance and music theory. Rachel is actually our Artabilities artist. She has been our SciArtsRus ambassador, and she's always, ever ready to come and support us for any of our initiatives. Thank you so much, Rachel, for that. And, you're such an inspiration. You've never allowed anything to limit your accomplishments. And, not only that, you're an inspiration. You're the Vice President of the National Federation of the Blind. In addition to your excellence in music, you put together lots of events, and, SciArtsRus is also looking forward to doing something with the NFB in the near future. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy what are we playing? Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm actually playing Victoria.
Perfect. Yes, wonderful. So yes, I love to sing. That is my favorite way of expressing myself. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you so much, Rachel, again for waiting patiently.
It's all good. Thank you.
Hold on just a minute.
Vittoria, 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 mio cuore, non lacrimar più, e sciolta d'amore la vil servitù. Vittoria, Vittoria, mio cuore, non lacrimar più, e sciolta d'amore la vil servitù, e d'amore la servitù. Già l'empiato ed ogni frastuolo di sguardi con le veci bugiardi di spose ghignali, le frodi, gli affani, l'oro più loco, del crudo suo fuoco e spento l'ardore. Vittoria, vittoria mio cuore, non lacrimar più, e scelta d'amore al vil servitù, e scelta d'amore la servitù. Da luci redente non esce più strale che piaga mortale nel vetro moventi, nel duolmi dormenti la più non vi sfaccio, e rotoni il lascio smarrito e timore. Vittoria, 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 vittoria mio cuore, non lacrimar più, e scelta d'amore al vil servitù, e scelta d'amore la servitù.
Wow, amazing vocals there, Rachel. Incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much again for coming and joining us today. I'd like to move on to Surabhi Vijay, actually, from California. I know she has a little one, and she has a babysitter waiting too. Surabhi is actually a singer, performer, and a teacher. She specializes in Indian classical and film music, loves musical storytelling and experimenting with cross-culture music. She grew up in a musically inclined family with training from her mother, who is also an accomplished disciple of a very eminent artist from India, T.V. Gopalakrishnan. And she transitioned from a career in engineering to pursue music and has founded Carnatic California, an endeavor to popularize Carnatic music, which is a classic form of classical music from the south of India, and to make it more accessible to a larger audience. And she's certified in world music and music production from the prestigious Berklee College of Music. And she continues her advanced Carnatic music from none other than our very eminent guest here, Mr. Shashi Kiran. Yeah, welcome, Surabhi. Thank you for joining us today and waiting patiently. I know your little one's probably, can't wait to, go back to her. Would you like to say a few words to the artists?
Thank you so much for having me, Ranjini, and congrats to Sayat Saras on the incredible work that you do and for the proclamation that you received. I've been absolutely enjoying the array of cross-culture performances, and it's been making me more and more proud through this time since 8:30 about this very, very talented panel that I'm part of. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy my music.
I think we're going to share a little combo of, something that's just Indian and also some kind of experiments that you've done with East meets West. Is that right, Surabhi?
Yeah.
If I'm explaining it correctly, I hope. So hold on 1 second. Let me share your performance in just a second. There you go.
Hare
rolling in the deep. You had my heart inside of your hand, and you played to the beat. Sariga 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 mama sa sariga 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 papa sa mama sa papa papa.
இருதயம் அடிக்கடி இருந்தது என்பேனா என் கதை எழுதிட மறுக்குது என்பேனா
Pada pama sanida, pada pama nida.
சுருதிலயமும் ஒன்று சேர
Pama magari gari sa ga pa ga da pama ga pama pa da pa
gapa gapa ganida madapama pasa pasa garisa pamari pasa garini ripa sa garisa panida madapama pasa
pama sa pani sa gari sari sa ni pa da ni da pama gari pa sa gari ni da pa 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 da pa pa gari gari ni sari ga ga pa ni sa ni da mama da pa ma sa ni pa sa.
Thank you so much, Surabhi, for that. There's just a little snippet of some of the interesting things that you're doing, experimenting with Carnatic music in the Western genre. If you don't mind, could you just briefly explain to the artists or whoever's present, like what exactly you did with Adele and the Harry Potter aspect?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to. It's always been a joy for me to use Carnatic music, which is South Indian classical music, which is so versatile to explore and come up with my own understanding of the rest of world music, I guess, in a sense. So it's beautiful how the layers of harmonies and swaras or notes of Carnatic music just layer exactly into these Western popular genres, be it Adele or be it Harry Potter, how the same thing sounds like a turn of a kaleidoscope and so different with Swaram, and yet have so many layers where they would blend into something so conventionally South Indian classical that you wouldn't otherwise think that flows with something as technically radically different from that genre of music. So there's so much of work that me, my music school, and my students, we do and we keep doing, and it's just something that keeps on giving. So we want to see how much farther we can just go and enjoy and bring that joy to everybody who listens to, hopefully.
Thank you for that, Surabhi. And Surabhi will be participating in a longer performance in the cross-culture recitals coming up. So, please tune in to learn more about what she's doing. Thank you again, Surabhi. I'd like to move to Natalie. And the reason I want to move to Natalie is because she was actually traveling this whole entire time on bus to Mexico City. And think she has a recording coming up. And I'm sorry I made you wait as long as I did, but thank you for waiting, Natalie. Natalie is actually a professional flautist, and she obtained her bachelor's degree from the University of Veracruz in Mexico. And in 2010, she received a scholarship from the Indian Council for Cultural Relations to study in Delhi, the course of classical Hindustani vocal with her guru Jyotika Dayal Post. Along with these, she's also been learning the Hindustani Bansuri and Pandit Kailash Sharma in Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, with the support of a scholarship from the Mexican Fund for Art and Culture. You're very accomplished, Natalie. I want to definitely share your bio, especially next week. You're going to be performing a concert as part of the cross-culture concerts and Sayat Saras. But in addition to this, she also performs with her partner Nick as Nick and Nat duo where they explore Latin jazz. I'll let you speak a little bit about the two songs we're going to be sharing, snippets of the two songs that we're going to be sharing today. Welcome, Natalie.
Hi, thank you, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we are traveling to Mexico City because we're going to record the program for the next weekend with a Mexican tabla player in Mexico City. And we are presently living in another city. So we are just very excited about participating in CR us, and I'm very happy to see the performances of the artists that have performed before us, and we're very excited about this actually. And so these two songs, one is just a rendition on Bansuri of a song from the movie Bharat, which is called Ketaki Gulabi, which is based on Rag Basant. Sorry, not the movie Bharat, the movie is Basant. And the second song is it's just a small jazz song, which is one of our favorites, called "Fly Me to the Moon." Nikhil Mokin, who is my partner, he's a singer and a guitar player, a jazz guitar player from India, and I'm from Mexico, but I have been studying Indian music, so we are a cross-culture couple. So I hope to enjoy it.
Thank you, Natalie, for that introduction to your song. Let me share that in just a second.
Hi, my name is Natalie Ramirez. I am from Mexico, and I have been studying Indian classical music for the past 14 years, 11 years in India and 3 years here in Mexico. And I'm very happy to be able to share some of this music through my instrument, which is the bansuri, the Indian bamboo flute.
does. Show me what the spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me play forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me play forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love you.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Natalie, for that. And, we look forward to your performance next week. And I think we've, people are, since it's getting late for folks, a lot of people are dropping off. Apologies for that. Nikki sent me a text. Nick Chopra Richardson. She had to run to a meeting, but she wanted to congratulate all the artists for the fabulous job. And, she said she will join us at a later meeting. She's from the director from TO Arts. I want to introduce Lucien Wesolowski from Poland. Thank you, Lucien and Renata, for waiting for as long as you did. Lucien is actually a composer, multi-instrumentalist, and ballad singer. He plays the sitar, Indian bamboo flute, guitar, bass guitar, bouzouki, djembe, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and various ethnic stringed instruments like the saz, oud, chonguri, panduri, etc. Oh my goodness. You've had many CDs that you've been issued in like over 45 times in Poland, Italy, Hungary, and the United States. And you're the author of music for 8 theater plays and soundtracks for TV programs. He composes and performs songs, and he spent over a year in doing yoga in Buddhist centers in India, Italy, Germany, and Poland. Invited in 1991 as an honorary member to the Italian Association of Music Therapists. Amazing. Lucien and I have been talking quite a bit, and think in the 3rd season, we're going to have Lucien for a longer performance, but he performs with his partner, Renata A. Shobjak, who sings and plays instruments such as the tampura, zither, rainstick, and bells, and she played and sung on CDs of Lucien Wesolowski and Andrei Kotin. She's also a painter and a sculptor and has had many exhibitions. Thank you, Lucien and Renata, for joining us today. Oh, you're on mute, Lucien.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm sorry. At first, I'm very glad to be with you. I enjoy very much. I'm enjoying our performances. I would like to say that Renata cannot stay with us because she feels not good after the vaccine of yesterday.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, she is very glad of the of your invitation. my best greetings, my best wishes for all musicians whom I could listen thanks to you and Johnny, and for next musicians which will come. I would like only to say that it's very, very good that we can express ourselves and we can give to people our art. Thank you, Ranjan, again.
Oh, thank you so much, Lucian. Let me share your performance really quick. Hold on a second, please. There you go.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to introduce my partner, Renata Sobczak.
Hello. And Lucian Wesołowski.
We are from Poland and we would like to perform a song from Kujawy. It is a region of Poland, a folk song. The name of the song is Czerwone Jabłuszko. It means red, little red apple.
amazing, Lutzin and Renata, so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this multicultural genre. I can't wait to have you for the longer performance. And Sayat Saras, thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad. Nicolo is in India right now, and waiting patiently. Thank you so much, Nicolo. Nicolo was performed in Sayat Saras. Like he was the second artist in our second season, and we're so excited to have you, Nicolo. Nicolo is actually an Italian musician with a Western musical background. Having studied piano and flute during a young age, through his musical journey, he discovered the sound of the Indian bamboo flute, which he immediately fell in love with. And he's been playing and studying Hindustani classical music for several years. And he's engaged in bringing this extraordinary art form all over his country and Europe, performing as a soloist and with accompaniments, as well as an instrument ensemble and electronic fusion projects. And during his research, he has looked for the purest sources of this musical style. And he has had the privilege of being the student of the legendary flute maestro, Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia. And he's been a resident student at the Vrindavan Gurukul. And actually, Nicolo's accomplishments are huge. I would need a very long time to just speak about that. And Nicolo, thank you for your support. Thank you for waiting patiently, for as long as you have. Appreciate you joining us today.
My pleasure to be here with all of you in this special day and to see all the beautiful art form that we brought together in these difficult days.
Right.
And so much to have created this community of artists coming from all the countries of the planet and to give us this opportunity to share in this difficult time ourselves and our emotions and to keep us busy doing videos.
Right, no, definitely. No, I think this is the kind of positive energy we need. And thanks to the artists. Without the artist does not exist. And, we all don't get to enjoy it. So always thanks to all of you for being a part of this. Thank you. I want to share Nicolo's, snippets of all the different things that he does. It's pretty amazing. And I'd like everyone to check out Nicolo's performance on Sayat Saras sometime. Wow, that's amazing. Hold on.
Hi, my name.
Thank you, Nicolo. You're such a versatile artist. And, you know, folks who are here, I know some of you may not have seen his performance, but, you know, I'll be happy to share the link from about like a month ago, I think. Thanks again, Nicolo, for joining. I think we have sort of come to the end. We were going to even show Sin Silvers, you know, from Ireland, who's performing next weekend. Actually, the next weekend are the concluding concerts of season 2. Natalie and Sin Silver will be wrapping it up. If you guys, Sin couldn't join us because she was working. She has a job as well. Would you guys like me to share Sin's video, or would you like to tune in next weekend to watch it? No opinions?
Yeah, I think we like to see it.
Okay, great. Let's do that. I just want to, unfortunately she couldn't join us, but she did send me a video message, but let me give you a quick intro to Sin. Sin is actually originally from Ireland, you know, and hold on, I'm just trying to find my printout where I have Sin's. Oh, there you go. So she is an Irish singer, songwriter, and she's based in the Bay Area. So she's from California as well. And with a unique style, her Irish piano, because, you know, traditionally in Ireland, they don't use the piano. So she's sort of cross-cultural in another aspect. And her angelic voice delights audience. She's a featured artist at the Northern California's Graton Casino Resort, and she brings a very unique flavor to her craft, whether she's playing her expertly crafted originals, covers with her own twist, or Celtic music. And she'll be doing a lot of Celtic music next weekend, actually. Sin Silver deserves to be heard live. And she came to San Francisco from Ireland 6 years ago with enormous talent and a fire in her belly. And since then, she's made a large swath of fans in the Bay Area, where she finds herself these days, one song at a time, one fan at a time. And, you know, she's also recorded her debut album at the legendary Fantasy Studios, mixed by Grammy-nominated Adam Munoz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Maybe Natalie can help me with that. Since Silver is polished and ready to share her unique sound on the Irish piano. Unfortunately, we don't have Sin here today with us, but we will be doing a meet and greet with her next weekend. So I encourage everyone to watch. So let me share Sin's. 1 second, please.
Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome. My name is Sin Silver. I'm an Irish singer-songwriter. Today, I'm sharing Whiskey in the Jar. Whiskey in the Jar is a very traditional Irish song made famous by the Dubliners, covered by Thin Lizzy, and even covered by the metal band Metallica. In this particular version, I put my own spin on it. I changed the melody. I think I stay true to the spirit of it. And of course, I am playing the piano in an Irish style. The piano is not a traditional Irish instrument per se, so that's what makes it a little bit different for Whiskey in the Jar. Thank you, SciArts Ranjini, for all that you do. Enjoy. Slointa.
Daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, why?
daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o. There's whiskey in the whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o. There's whiskey in the jar.
Beautiful. Can't wait to listen to Sin next weekend. So I know it's been a long program. I know some of the artists dropped off because it's so late. I guess that's part of the problem with having a global kind of event, right? The time zones never work out. It's early for someone, it's late for someone else. I don't know how to ever do such an event, but thank you so much, to all of you who've stayed as long as you have. It's a lot to ask, but I think it meant a lot for the mayor to come. He's been very supportive, and I'm hoping that we can come up with some collaborations with the city, and hopefully in the future we can do live. Even like I was mentioning to some of you, want to talk about online performances to keep, sort of like be a background for all live performances also going forward. So I'm hoping, we'll get support from the city of Simi Valley or from Thousand Oaks. And also I want to thank Mr. Shashikiran for having stayed. He stayed for a very long time listening to the artists. So I know he's dropped off. Thank you. Natalie, thank you. Despite being on the bus. So that's really tough to do. Thank you. Noam, for staying as long as you did. Nico, Lutsinji, and Prince. Prince's meet and greet will be streamed today. Or today for us and tomorrow for you guys. So yeah, thank you all.
One day we will all meet together in the city and we will perform on stage.
That would be so awesome. I cannot wait for something like that to happen. I just don't know what would be the venue for it, but we'll figure it out.
We will do it for sure. We will do it.
Oh, thanks, Nico. Thank you all for the support. And it was lovely seeing all of you. Hi, Natalie.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a safe trip.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Hello.
Good night. Good day. Bye. Namaste. Bye.
Ciao, Nicolò. Ciao, Nicolò.
Ciao.
Bye.